Ukraine's air forces say Russia fired a barrage of 400 Shahed and decoy drones as well as a ballistic missile overnight into Wednesday, targeting several Ukrainian cities. At least 20 Palestinians were killed on Wednesday in a stampede at the Khan Yunis site of the Israeli-backed U.S. aid operation in Gaza.
Israel strikes Damascus, citing escalating violence against the Druze minority.
Russian forces launched a fresh wave of attacks targeting several Ukrainian cities overnight into Wednesday. Ukraine's air forces say the Kremlin fired approximately 400 Iranian-made Shahed and decoy drones as well as one ballistic missile. The attacks targeted Kharkiv, Odessa, Zaporizhia, Vinnytsia, Kramatorsk, and President Zelensky's hometown of Kryvyi Rih. An attack on two residential sites in the Vinnytsia region injured at least 8 people, 5 of them sustaining severe burns, with 2 in critical condition. Local officials say one victim underwent emergency surgery after suffering 50% body burns in the strike. 9 private homes in the village of Pisarivka were badly damaged, with residents reporting roofs being destroyed, windows blown out, and partially collapsed walls. At least 30 apartments were reported damaged after a barrage of drones struck a district in the southern Zaporizhia region. The overnight attacks did not cause any casualties, but local officials say some civilians sustained minor injuries during evacuations. Earlier on Tuesday, Zaporizhia was the target of more than 400 Russian strikes across 14 settlements, targeting everything from residential to energy sites. Kramatorsk also came under attack in the early hours of Wednesday, with locals reporting a series of explosions around 1 a.m. local time. One of the drones struck a multi-story residential building, causing a fire which damaged multiple units.
Hungary has called for European Union sanctions against Ukrainian officials following the reported death of a Hungarian citizen during military mobilization in Ukraine. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban claimed last week that Joseph Sebastian, a 45-year-old ethnic Hungarian from Ukraine's Transcarpathia region, was beaten to death for refusing to join the Ukrainian army.
Meg kényszer sorozás következtében agyonverték. Tehát agyonvertek egy magyar állampolgárt. Ez a helyzet. És ez egy olyan ügy, amit ki kell vizsgálnunk. Tehát ez nem történhet meg. Az állampolgárság lényege, hogy ha egy állampolgára vagy, akkor a saját államod védelme alatt állsz.
Ukrainian authorities have firmly denied the allegations. According to the Ukrainian military, Sebastian's mobilization was lawful and he died of a pulmonary embolism with no signs of bodily harm. The incident has heightened already strained relations between Hungary and Ukraine, with Budapest summoning the Ukrainian ambassador and escalating its criticism of Kyiv.
At least 20 Palestinians were killed on Wednesday in a stampede at a food distribution site run by an Israeli-backed U.S. organization in Gaza. It's the first time the group has acknowledged deadly violence at its operation, despite reports of Israeli soldiers opening fire at Palestinians queuing up multiple times. The Gaza Humanitarian Foundation says 19 people were trampled in the crowd crush, and 1 person was fatally stabbed at a hub it operated in the southern city of Khan Yunis. The organization accused Hamas of instigating panic and spreading misinformation that led to the violence, but provided no evidence to support those claims. Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry and witnesses said GHF workers used tear gas against the crowd, inciting a panic. Palestinians who were at the Khan Yunis site also say stun grenades and pepper spray were also used on the crowds of people lined up. Dozens more were injured and were transferred to nearby hospitals for treatment. Gaza's health ministry says it's the first time people were killed by a stampede at an aid site. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu suffered a major political blow on Wednesday after a key partner in his coalition quit government. The far-right ultra-Orthodox Shas party's surprise withdrawal leaves Netanyahu, whose domestic support has been waning, with a minority in parliament. Shas, who has long served as a kingmaker in Israeli politics, said it would be leaving over disagreements surrounding a proposed law that would mandate military service for all. Ultra-Orthodox men were granted exemptions from compulsory service via a decades-old arrangement by Israel's first Prime Minister David Ben-Gurion. It's the second ultra-Orthodox party to quit government this week after United Torah Judaism announced it was leaving on Tuesday. Shas ministers are expected to resign from their positions on Thursday morning. The party's leader, Aryeh Deri, did however note that it would not undermine Netanyahu's coalition from the outside and could still vote with it on some legislation. The announcement comes shortly before the Knesset goes into summer recess, set to begin on July 27th.
U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee will attend Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's court hearing on Wednesday, in a show of support for the leader after U.S. President Donald Trump called for a pardon. Huckabee said he's representing Trump's views, adding the president considers Netanyahu a personal friend. Trump previously called the case a witch hunt and warned it could disrupt peace talks with Hamas. Netanyahu faces charges of bribery and fraud, including allegations of accepting luxury goods for political favors and negotiating favorable media coverage. Israel has launched an airstrike on a Syrian military compound in Damascus, a direct hit on the capital, citing escalating violence against the Druze minority in southern Syria. According to the Israeli military, 2 strikes targeted the entrance to Syria's General Staff compound and military positions in the Sweda province. 2 civilians were reportedly injured, Syrian state TV says. Clashes in Golan Heights have further raised alarm bells in Israel. Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Saar has accused the Syrian government of hostile actions against minorities, particularly the Druze, many of whom remain wary of the new authorities in Damascus.
האינטרסים שלנו בסוריה הם ידועים, מצומצמים וברורים. קודם כל, לשמור על סטטוס קוו באזור של דרום סוריה, שהוא סמוך לגבולנו גם, ולמנוע התפתחות של איומים כלפי ישראל במרחב הזה. הדבר השני, למנוע פגיעה בעדה הדרוזית שיש לנו איתה, עם האזרחים הדרוזים כאן בישראל, קשר אמיץ וחזק.
€2 trillion. This is the amount proposed by the European Commission for the EU's next budget period from 2028 to 2034. This envelope, known in European jargon as the Multi-Annual Financial Framework, represents a significant increase on the previous financial year. The Commission chief is proposing to merge the various European programs into 3 main pillars.
This is a budget for the realities of today as well as the challenges of tomorrow. A budget that equips us to act on our political choices in a very fast-moving world.
The first accounts for 48% of the total budget. It covers agricultural policy, cohesion, fisheries, and social policy. But this regrouping of historic European programs into a single envelope is causing concern among the member states and the farming community. The second concerns the union's competitiveness. Allocated €410 billion, or 23% of the proposed budget, this envelope is intended to finance innovation, industry, and clean technologies. These are all elements that must ensure European sovereignty. This envelope also includes budgets for defense and space sectors, where funding has been increased 5-fold. The third pillar, roughly 11% of the proposed budget, concerns Europe's place in the world, like strategic partnerships, humanitarian aid, and the enlargement of the Union. The Commission is also proposing a reserve of €100 billion for Ukraine.
À peine présenté, ce projet de budget fait déjà l'objet de critiques. Les rapporteurs au Parlement européen évoquent un manque d'ambition et estiment que les calculs budgétaires ne tiennent pas la route. Ces eurodéputés soulignent que ce cadre menace des programmes historiques tels que la politique agricole commune. Enfin, ils craignent que cette structure favorise 27 programmes nationaux aux dépens d'une vision commune. Grégoire Laurie, Euronews, Bruxelles.
Iceland's Reykjanes Peninsula has erupted again, the region's 12th eruption in 4 years. Magma pushed through the Earth's crust, opening a fissure thought to be between 700 and 1,000 meters long, with lava flows lighting up the dark volcanic landscape. tourists were evacuated from the area as a precaution, although no injuries have yet been reported. Unlike eruptions from a central crater, lava in fissure eruptions like this one appears along long cracks in the ground. Iceland, often called the land of ice and fire, has recorded a dozen volcanic eruptions since geological systems on the Reykjanes Peninsula reactivated 4 years ago. Experts say eruptions in this area could continue for decades or even centuries as part of a new volcanic cycle.
L'importanza consiste innanzitutto nel gesto di decidere da parte degli eredi di un cittadino tedesco che l'ha ricevuto come dono da un capitano della Wehrmacht che è stato qui in Italia, in Campania a quanto pare, di dire ok basta, non lo teniamo più a casa, lo ridiamo all'Italia che poi il Ministero della Cultura l'ha assegnato al Parco di Pompei.